Right, think before you think. The very basics, your carving setup. I'm a big advocate of this. Not got loads of money, don't like spending it twice, so when I buy something I try and buy the very best I can find. I spend a lot of time researching stuff. This is the Jourdain EX5. I think they actually call it an insemination yoke, but it is their carving gate. The thing I like about it, very good friction interlock here, removable neck rail, which is also adjustable width, you can hopefully see that, and a straight drop. So if the worst happens, your animal goes down, it is not going to throttle itself, you've got a clean drop straight down. Then you can either release your yoke here, which throws your mechanism out, or you take your neck rail out. That's the basics. That has saved you overstressing your cow if the worst goes wrong. Then if you've got a dedicated pen, you've got the option of fitting your carving gate, which they call their operation gate. Again, like it a lot. You've got clear access for a section, or if you're working after a section, you can run your cow in with that gate undone and you don't catch the stitches. And suckling gate for calves with no bottom rail, so you're not battling trying to get your calf's legs under your cow with a rail stuck in the way or anything behind. I think it's very, very good. The other advantage of these things both being removable is it's a lot easier to carry it if you want to take it out and wash it, which I do after every section. It gets steam cleaned to try and avoid any disease transfer for any subsequent operations. So that's your basics of your carving infrastructure. You could make that such that you can move it between your buildings. If you get one building carved, you can move into another, because you can get this post here with a claret on a ground socket. So you could have half a dozen sockets in and just keep moving your yoke round if it come to it. But for what this lot cost, including this gate, I think you're looking at about 900 quid, it might be dearer now. What's it cost you losing a cow and calf? This setup will pay for itself, potentially in one calving, at the very least within your first season, so don't skimp. Your next, and I think most fundamental consideration, if you're calving cows, not only is having your vet's phone number and having it easily accessible for yourself or somebody working with you, worst case, write it on the wall or have your phone out in your carving pen ready should the worst happen, but rewind on that. Have you got good enough veterinary coverage to be carving beef cows at the more extreme end of the spectrum? Will you have a vet on your farm within an hour, hour and a half if you need a section? Because your calf's probably already been in the birth canal for an hour or an hour and a half before you've got to that point of calling. So that, to me, is a fundamental decision. If you've not got sufficient veterinary cover, should you really be calving cows? So just have a think on that for a minute. Then we'll move to equipment. That is a calving aid. And it's amazing how many lives I've saved just with a double-ended band and a bit of old fork shaft. Realistically, your assisted calving should be the force of you exerted on that calf. You could potentially get two blokes on that bit of wood. Should you be pulling anything harder than that? Should it then become a section? What do you think? I think if you're getting beyond the point of needing two people on that, should you really be pulling that calf out? So again, you've got that thought. We move on to this. This is the think. Beef 1800 alternate traction. Alternate traction because you've got two separate anchor points for your ropes, and then you have two ropes that are different colours and different lengths. That allows the calf's shoulders and legs to walk out one then the other, so you get this pincer movement as they walk forward out through the pelvis. The idea being that one leg comes and then the other, and it just creates that narrowing of the body to let it come through. Very, very good calving aid, and cement that in your mind. It is a calving aid. It is not a machine to force a calf through a cow's pelvis. It is there to assist you, and it is there to eliminate the fatigue that you will suffer, like I do, with that. Because if you've pulled half a dozen calves over the space of a week, holding on to that bit of wood, you start to get arm pump, you start to get pump in your shoulders, and you just can't grip it for long enough to be safe. So by going back to your mechanical calving aid, you've took the strain off yourself, and you can also hold a constant pressure on your calf. And like I've said in previous videos, you can hold your calf there against the vulva, encourage dilation, and allow for alignment. Now, that 2-man limit, that's still a lot of pulling force. I have genuinely had calves just hang at the hips in heifers when they've been laid down, and I've pulled heifers across the straw. So I'm capable of pulling a 600 kilo animal across the straw. It might not be very far, but I can. So that's the force you yourself can generate when you're levering against the back of a cow. When you come to these, the idea of this linkage is such that it should generate the force of between 4 and 6 men, as I understand it. Now, it does get a bit lost in translation because this is a Dutch design, and the initial spiel on Vink calving aids when they first come out was all translated from Dutch. But there's a reason this lever is only as long as it is. It is so you have got a limit on the force you generate when you're ratcheting. And you should only really be ratcheting at that speed, so you get the feedback as your ratchet's clicking. Because not only have you got the leverage here, you've also got this, I'll zoom out a bit, this 1.8 metre long bar swinging off the back of your cow. So even doing this movement creates a phenomenal amount of leverage on your calf. And if you're at full pressure and you lever down like that, you're then creating this articulation pressure through the hips and pelvis on your cow. And it's the action of that combined that helps or causes and contributes to your nerve pinches. It's not just getting the calf stuck in the hips that causes the issue. It's the force of your machine pushing against your cow as well. So be very conscious of that, because used badly, these aren't a calving aid. They're an object of torture and cow and calf destruction. So to carry on from your machine, other essentials: lubricant. Get it on hand pump. Use it like it's going out of fashion. Don't be tight or stingy with lube. Get plenty in there. Help avoid grazes, tears, bruising, you name it. That gains you a lot of free play. Your ropes, keep them in good condition. Wash them every time you've used them. Put them in a box, keep them clean. Anti-inflammatory. Other products are available, but if you've assisted a calving, why aren't you giving your cow anti-inflammatory? You will have bruised her. Gloves. Don't put your shitty hands in a cow. You're entering a body cavity, you're taking infection in. As clean as you can be and as reduced friction as you can be. Gloves combined with lube help with success. So that's all that lot covered. Hope I've hammered it home.